The Supreme Court of Nigeria has ruled that the 774 local government areas should be given a full financial autonomy across the federation, declaring that it is unconstitutional for state governors to hold their funds. In the unanimous judgment of its 7-member panel, the Supreme Court unanimously upheld the suit brought by the federal government to strengthen the independence of local governments in the country, stressing that the local governments should manage their funds themselves. Also, the court further declared that a state government has no power to appoint a caretaker committee, and a local government council is also only recognizable with a democratically elected government. So to help us understand this better, I have as guest Shehu Bala-Usman, a former chairman, Jos North Local Government Area, and of course he joins me from Plateau State. Good evening to you, Shehu Bala-Usman.
Good evening, how are you? Let me correct an impression, not a former chairman, but still a serving chairman and executive chairman of the Local Government Council.
All right,
the
noted.
tenure will be expiring by October this year, on the 9th of October to be precise.
All right, that is noted. Thank you so much for that. So let's just quickly get into it. First, I'd like to find out, what's your take on the Supreme Court's judgment affirming the financial autonomy of Nigeria's 774 local governments?
Yes, actually, I will go by the reasoning of the entirety of the citizens of Nigeria. You can see after the judgment, there were jubilation and also a feeling of hope. The renewed hope of His Excellency, the President Bala-Usman will come to be. Because the entirety of the citizens of Nigeria feels that now development and also other social amenities, social issues will be streamlined down to the grassroots as, against what's been obtained in the past. So I think it's a general view, a general perception, and also generally is a welcome address. And we actually welcome this. It is a development, it's a milestone towards the better Nigeria and better grassroots development in the nation.
All right. Before now, we know that state governments have been averse to such moves. So, from how you see it, is it that there's a willingness on their side to actually preside over the finances of local governments, or would you say it is born out of the need to control the resources of the local government? Because some people feel that there's the need for accountability, and that is missing when you look at local government at the grassroots level. So where do we place it now when it comes to accountability on the part of the state government presiding over the local government affairs, or maybe they just want to control the resources?
Yes, I think that the issues, the ambiguity is actually right from the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I will not say that all the governors are in line with actually tempering the funds of the local governments. But then the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Hello, Shehu.
Nigeria such right to do so, which they administer and also shared on behalf, of the local government administer. But I feel that it's a good, actually the issues of accountability, of course. Some of the accountabilities that has to do with the local government, today's the politicians of today, we are the politicians, and we take advantage that the resources with us that we can do otherwise without the due cost of the, yearning and aspiration of the ordinary citizen, which such resources are supposed to go down the grassroots for the national development. So I feel that the accountability there is almost zero. Most of the governors might not actually welcome this, development. Well, some with a good heart, with a good intention will. We hope that they should find, within their hearts to accept this change for the betterment of the citizen and for the betterment of the grassroots. Because all development is from the grassroots, all development is local. And we are sure that by this, the security challenges will be minimized because all the resources will be deployed to the local government for the proper and effective utilization of such resources.
But then, who do you now think that these local governments chairmen will be answerable to? Because it seems as though the power has been taken away from the states. Would that mean that they would have to seek recourse or approval, or communicate with the federal government at the center and not the states anymore?
You see, once you've been given the responsibilities, it actually comes with the checks and balances. Because if there are no checks and balancing, if you are not answerable to any person, such development will be fatality. So I think that now that the funds are coming directly to the local government, of course, the federal government will set a machinery for effective evaluation and also consideration on how effective this resource will be administered and be properly monitored to see that it has yield the desired effect. And those that are found wanting to be brought to book, I feel that the check-off mechanism lies with the federal government, since the elected chairman now will be answerable to the federal government as issues of the funds judicially should be used.
It's quite interesting if you say that this will form some sort of check and balance for the grassroots governments. But then when you look at governance, as it were, and government spending over time, there seems not to be any form of mechanism when it comes to determining how well funds have been expended. Of course, if you look at the state government too, they seem not to be answerable to anyone. And that impunity continues from the federal to the state, and it seems as though it will trickle down to the local government. So how sure are we that there would be some form of accountability, there will be checks and balance? Like, how do people even know that truly whatever funds that comes to these tiers of government will be judiciously used for the intended purpose?
You see, first of all, when the governors are in charge of these funds, and definitely one way or the other, you must have them wanting, dabbling also administering such funds. They may not have the audacity, you understand, to actually check all these things, because they are also involved. They are also part of the issue. And it will interest you to know that when those funds are with them, most of them do not even give the local government the desired resources. They give what they have feel that maybe the running cost and what have you. But now that the local government chairman will be solely responsible for these resources, and I feel that they have to account for it. And the president has said it again. One thing is that there is a transparency. What you've collected will be, will get to the grassroots people, will get to know. People will ask questions. What have you done with this money? There are so much resources, and we have not seen anything. It raises questions and answers. So I feel that this confidence that has been derived from the general public by this judgment will not be shattered. And looking at the issues of the scenario, but I feel that the federal government will put in place the right mechanism for checks and balances and also proper utilization of its funds.
Yeah, okay. Let's take a bit of reactions now. We see that the 36 state governments, through the attorneys general, filed a counterclaim arguing that the Supreme Court lacked the jurisdiction to hear this particular case. And they claim that the AGF lacked the local standing to even institute the suits for the local governments. What do you make of this particular postulation or counterclaim?
Yes, of course, they really have to do that because as if you are someone is taking out something from you, which is very vital for you to survive. Most of the governors survive on the local governments, and that is why the local governments every day is shrinking without any development. When there are poverty alleviation funds, programs, policies, you don't see them right to the grassroots, even though they are policies, they are public-oriented policies. Of course, they must have to, cry loud to that the Supreme Court doesn't have the jurisdiction, but that has been overruled by the Supreme Court. And what we see today is that yes, the Supreme Court is the final say. It has the final judicial say in this system, whatever. So what the Supreme Court says stands, and it remains that any contended. So the issues of whether they have jurisdiction or not, that has been overruled by the Supreme Court, and action has been taken. And the judgment says that it's immediate, with immediate effect, meaning that all that has been, granted in that plea it takes immediate effect as of that pronouncement.
Now, let me quickly take you on this, Shehu Bala-Usman. Now, some people have actually said that they do not really trust the administration or the kind of governance that we've seen play out at the local level for over 3 or 4 decades. And this is what they're saying, that we know that local governments also generate funds through taxes, levies, and a few other areas whereby they generate money to run, their governance at that level. Now, the question is, with the little they've been able to garner over the years, there has been no commensurate transformation in the localities, in the areas where they preside over. So if they're not even able to utilize the resources that they have, the limited funds that they have to actually bring about basic infrastructural development in their communities, how well do we now know, or are we assured that when more is committed into their hands, they will be able to deliver? Because when you move around and you go to some certain communities, you discover that the roads are terrible. In-roads, feeder roads are not looking good. We don't have infrastructures like, probably solar system that can actually give or power lights, probably in the evening and all that. Some little basic aesthetics that actually make communities look good in the 21st century. So if they cannot even make do with the little that they have to transform their localities, how are we so sure that when they now have direct funds coming from the federal government, they'll be able to do more?
You see, let me tell you that the impunity did not even, stop at the issues of federation account allocation. It also goes down to the issues of revenues, where you see most of the state governors have done their hands into the state, the local government revenues. They collect with a simple terminology that after the collection, you will be given about percentage, 10-15%. But it will surprise you that hardly you see any local government chairman giving that sort of percentage for utilization for social amenities in the particular local government. And I want to assure you that looking at the social contract, between the citizen and the government, you can see that has been charted away throughout the years, because the government, particularly at the local level, have not been able to meet with their responsibilities, providing social amenities such as provision of the boreholes, drainage, and also rehabilitating some roads that are within the jurisdiction. That has not been done because the resources are not there. So people now shy away from their own responsibilities of paying such taxes, where you'll be left out with markets and also motor parks. Well, the state government, takes out the tenement rates from the banks and also the filling station, the hotels, where the chunk money is. You see, the issue of this impunity have actually eaten deeply into the local system. And I want to say that with this now, when the people see that, yes, we have something on ground, that actually the local authority has been able to, provide social amenities, something needed, services, welfare services, health services. Now all our primary health care has turned out to be, where you just go and without any drugs. All these things are something that we have to look into so that we can give a hope, another hope to the citizens, so that they can also cooperate and meet with their own social responsibilities as paying tax. But I want to tell you categorically clear that the local governments have been left out with only parks, motor parks, and also small markets collect 200 naira or 2,500 naira a day, which almost does nothing. Sometimes we use such money to complement the running of the local governments.
Okay.
That's what is happening nationwide.
All right, so we understand that this financial autonomy actually covers local government areas. And we also know that there are LCDAs, local council development areas, actually created by the state. So where does this leave the LCDAs? Does this really affect them or not?
The development areas.
Yes.
Yeah, development areas are actually under the care of the local government.
Okay.
And development areas have been created to foster development. I would say that over the years, such development areas maybe have experienced little or no even development. But with this, you can be able to create more development areas so that development and also what has been termed as the social responsibilities of the local government will go down deeply into the grassroots. So I want to say that yes, the development areas are squarely affected with this autonomy. Very well.
All right, let me share this with you. Now, there's a school of thought that says that there's a possibility for state governments to ensure their stooges get elected into office at the local levels because of this particular ruling that has come into play, and that in a way they will ensure that they still have some sort of control over the finances of the local governments when they have their own people come into that particular position. Are you looking at that possibility? Do you think that could happen? Because it seems as though the state governors would not be willing to go down without a fight.
Yes, the judgment says that the state must ensure the survival and also the duly elected personalities, the leaders in the local government. That is a responsibility. And that responsibility is being spelled out in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended 1992, I think. So the issue here is that, of course, the state governors will actually adhere to that. It is a pronouncement from the Apex Court, and it is a constitutional provision. They have to actually, ensure that they have to ensure that we have democratic elected leaders in all the local government to foster, develop. I think that the governors will ensure that because it is also their own mindset to see all the rural areas, the local governments. That I said earlier, developments are local. It is, I know, in their views that they want to see this development taking place, and they will also ensure that. Because it is a provision of the Constitution.
But this development is coming at an expense of that is the state government losing their influence, their power over the local, the local governments. I mean, it's more or less like it's easier for them if they have their own kind of people that they can superintend over, to drive their templates for development, rather than have people who have the autonomy to decide how they want to govern, the local areas. So don't you think that is another problem that might, face in the next couple of days?
Of course, I want to tell you that most of the governors, not all, might have keyed into this development, even, more after the judgment and few before the judgment. It is about the government versus the national interest, which I think the national interest supersedes. And I want to tell you that development is incremental. It takes stages. So losing their grip, losing their...
Shehu Bala-Usman. Okay, I think we just lost connection with Shehu Bala-Usman, who is the chairman, Jos North Local Government Area, Plateau State. Of course, he has been speaking extensively, looking at the autonomy, the financial autonomy granted to the 774 local government areas in Nigeria. And of course, we've been looking at the different shades of it to have an understanding of how it will play out, most especially for the chairman at this level of governance, and how they'll be able to use whatever funds that will come to them directly to transform their localities. Yes, Shehu, thank you so much. It's nice to have you back. Let's just move forward from here. Now, we are looking at different shades to this. There's another submission that it is likely that the power of control of the local governments will now shift to the federal government, which may imply that in a case whereby the president is not really in tune with what a state governor is doing in a state, it probably might want to mobilize the local government chairman and, of course, his people to actually destabilize the states. Is there a possibility that, the government at the center might want to use, the local government as a tool to upstage or upset, state governors that are not in tune with his own ideology or drive?
You see, not at all. Of course, the authority or the issues now shift to the center. The local government will be answerable to the center. That doesn't mean that the center wants to use as issues political and political side. All these things are based on development and the yearning and aspiration of the citizen. Remember, these issues of the local government autonomy has been there for decades, and so many past presidents have, made attempt to make this autonomy so that the local government, will function for better delivery of services. But then, remember the issues of Buhari. Buhari also tried, which at the end of the day, he could not secure the 2/3 of the State House of Assemblies. And it comes, that was a fatality of the event. But this one, everybody has his own way of actually doing things. And President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, device another means of seeing that the local authority, the people actually benefit. So it's all about issues of development. It's all about bringing the dividend of democracy down to the grassroots. It's all about the services. It's all about the issues of tackling insecurity in Nigeria. It's all about seeing that, yes, we have elected leaders. No, it's all about, it's not that issues of, influence and everything. I want to tell you that when this thing starts flowing, you will see that even the governors will key into it, and also the governors will also give the support. I want to tell you that the local government chairmen have to work in collaboration with the governors. The governors are the governors, the executive governors of the state. And we have to work with them to ensure that we have, service delivery. Where we find there are gray areas that we cannot, we can go and, source for, advice and, the ways to deliver. It's all about the delivery of dividend democracy.
But then, Shehu,
that has nothing to do with the influence of the center to use the local government chairman as issues of politicking. It's all about the issues of delivery of a dividend of democracy and development at the grassroots.
Okay, so what about the governor's control to arbitrarily dismiss elected government executives, probably institute caretaker committees to take over? You know what happened, I'm thinking, is it in Rivers State? Or I can't really remember the state now where something like that happened. So, of course, we know that there are court rulings or there are constitutional provisions for that. So don't you think that that is another area that might actually destabilize the local level when we have the state governors exercise their power to some extent over the local government?
It's actually breaking. Can you hear you well? But
okay.
Let me
Bala-Usman,
to attempt the question and issues of caretaker, constitution of caretaker committee by the governors. Of course, some of the governors constitute such caretaker committee to be an avenue for them to actually do what they ought to do in terms of resources that is meant for the local government. I told you earlier that some of the local governments have, after paying salaries, will be given only funds for the running cost. That's why you don't see any development. So I want to say that the constitution of the local government by the constituting local governments by the state governors is not far away from having control over the resources and do what they want with the resources. And that's it.
Okay, well, I understand that. Now, I'd like to be sure when we talk about this local government and what they can provide, what kind of transformation or transformational changes do you expect them to bring to bear, knowing fully well that they're being supported now, they would be having funds at their disposal to spend. What are the critical changes you'll be expecting moving forward from here?
Yeah, you'll be expecting a transformation, a change in our education, to actually ensure that we have teachers and our schools are provided with all the needed learning materials, such as decks and other learning materials, books, textbooks, and everything. and to also secure our schools. Some of the schools, you see them without any fence. That is prone for any attack. That is issues of insecurity. That is a perspective of the education. And other social amenities, you can see that provision of pipeline water, and also provision of boreholes and drainages and other roads that is within the purview of the local government. That should be expected from the local government. And above all is the issues of security. That is why it's one of the components that President Bala-Usman emphasized, giving autonomy to the local government, the issues of insecurity. The local government chairman must be able to bring all the stakeholders together to put hands together, to fashion a way to foster issues of insecurity in Nigeria, to see and to devise a means, because you have no any option, because the resources now is with you and the resources is direct. There is no any excuse. You really have to find a way to bring insecurity to an end. Issues of insecurity is local, and we believe that it should be tackled local. So I believe that reforms and other things to be expected from security, education, and also health sector, where you go to the hospitals without any essential drugs. Even treatment for malaria and typhoid, you'll be asked to go and buy drugs outside, meaning that the provision of primary health care is even defeated because the essential drugs are not there. So we should be expecting transformation on that aspect, and many more of it ranging from the social and also the economic aspects.
All right, so even as a wrap up, Shehu, now finally the Supreme Court also stated that going forward, that governors cannot declare the seats of local government areas vacant or even determine their tenure. It also said that governors can no longer dissolve local government councils, and the Supreme Court also bars governors from funding unelected local government chairpersons. So in about 30 seconds, I'd like to find out, are you also in support of this ruling?
Yes, unfortunately or unfortunately, I'm one of the victims that, also removed without any due regard. And someone will tell you that it is the House of Assembly that gives him the powers of advising to do that. And today, the Supreme Court is saying that governors cannot do that. There are channels there are ways to remove elected leaders in local government. The laws are there spelled out without any issues there. And that laws are there, they have not been repealed. So if you want to remove any local government councillor or a chairman, there are laid down procedure. So we are fully in support that the local government doesn't exist at the pleasure of any government. Okay. So the governor should understand that he is being elected, as well as the chairman and also councillor elected, the same mandate. Okay. Mandate that people have sought to chew and also vote for them for the anticipation of good social services and also delivery of dividend democracy. So we are actually in support of that, and we give kudos to the Supreme Court for that judgment.
Okay. So, of course, we know that when it comes to governance, it has to go across and reach most especially those at the grassroots level. And we're hoping that this particular trend in governance will actually transform, of course, the country across board, looking at all the local governments. Shehu Bala-Usman, Chairman, Jos North Local Government, Plateau State. Of course, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us on the show.